All right, guys, this week we're going to start talking. It's week 6. We're going to start talking a little bit more about nutrition. Okay. We've talked about like the main things, which would be like walking enough, drinking enough water, right? Doing the basics really, really well and why they matter. This week, we're going to start with the main macronutrient that most people struggle with, and that is eat protein, right? So, why protein is crucial? It's one of the biggest macronutrients of the fats, carbs, and protein, right? And some people throw fiber in there too. But this one is really important because it's typically the one you have to cook the most. It's typically the one that doesn't have a high shelf life, so you're not going to be able to just go grab a bunch of protein on out of the cabinet in your house, right? You can grab fruit, that's a carbohydrate, right? You can grab an avocado, that's fats. You can grab peanuts, those are fats. You can grab Pop Tart, which is going to be carbs and fats, but you can't really just go grab anything but a protein bar or like protein powder, right? Those would be like high shelf life protein things. But typically, you're thinking meats, you're thinking fish, chicken, turkey, things you have to cook. You're thinking Greek yogurt, which you would have to go buy, and store in go to the fridge and get it. Thinking about things like that. So here's what it does. Here's how it affects your body, and then we're going to talk about how much you should be getting, particularly as a former athlete. Okay, so it repairs and builds lean muscle tissue. If carbs are our key energy to kind of get us through the workout, right? We use the glucose, we store it. It's got glycogen. We store it in glucose, and when our body uses that, that's our main energy source. Fat's our second one, and fat's extremely important for hormone regulation, right? So those two are the fast and slow energy that we use when we eat and we absorb it, and then we actually are able to move our hands around and blink our eyes and think and be cognitive. Protein is the thing that comes behind when we use energy to repair things, so repair muscle tissue, our fingernails, our hair follicles, things like that is where protein is going to come in and be very, very effective. Now, where protein comes in and it's effective for the former athlete is it's going to allow you to repair and build lean muscle tissue. So if you want to get more jacked or toned, right, that is going to be one of the key foods we need to focus on. It also boosts our metabolism because of a thing called thermoeffective food, right? So we call this TEF. And the thermoeffective of food, just think of as is our body takes energy in, but then it takes energy to actually break down the food and utilize it. And so what's happening there is when we eat more whole foods, in particular protein whole foods, they have a higher thermo effect, which means there's so many nutrients in there, vitamins, minerals, right? And branched chain amino acids that our body takes longer to break those things down, which requires more energy, which means you're burning more calories doing nothing but just eating better. And I like to think of this as like trying to get your money to make money for you. You're trying to get your food to burn calories for you. So if you eat crappy foods that are highly processed, your body just doesn't need to absorb much because there isn't really much in there, right? And it just kind of goes right through you. When you eat higher quality foods, right, it takes longer to digest, and it could because there's more richness in that food to pull out. Well, protein's one of those things. Very rich protein foods that are high quality are going to have a higher thermo effect, and that's going to burn more calories for you and cause you to actually lose more weight and get leaner. All right. It also improves satiety. So basically, what it's going to say is it makes you feel full faster. And this is going to help you from overeating. It's going to help your blood sugar levels, and it's going to help regulate your hormones and your hunger cues. So those are really why we start there, on top of the fact that most people just don't eat enough, because we want to start around 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So for instance, if I'm 200 pounds, I want to get around 200 grams of protein, right? And that sounds like a lot. So what my rule of thumb is with a lot of my clients is try to have 40 grams of protein before 10 a.m. So I need to make sure I start my breakfast right, or I'm playing catch up all day. And what happens is when you're playing catch up, you typically are going to overeat because you had too much fun eating fats and carbs earlier that you now don't have enough room outside of just eating like chicken breasts all day. And that's not a good position to be in. So where we want to do that is we want to spread it across 3 to 5 meals. And we want to think of things like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, beef, fish, chicken, eggs, If you're doing more plant-based, which I don't recommend, but I know some people do this for moral reasons, and that's totally cool. But like tofu, legumes, grains, things like that, quinoa, black beans. So supplement with high quality whey protein. Stay away from soy protein. Soy protein is going to be, especially for my female friends and clients, you need to stay away from that for your estrogen levels not to spike and cause you to mess with your hormones and also your cycle. So stay away from soy protein. Stick to a plant-based protein that is either pea, or go to a whey protein if you can handle dairy. All right. So this week I wanted to challenge you. Make sure you get more protein. Try to track this week and see if you can actually hit your body weight in grams per a pound. All right. There's even some more research coming out that says we should do maybe more than that, but most research says that that's a pretty good safe place to start. And I've seen a lot of people make some really great gains there. So hope this is helpful, and we'll see you next week.